Alright, this is the third time shooting this edit. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. This is what I've come up, like what's led me to build this car. Just where I got the idea from. Before this car, I bought a 77 Vega wagon sight unseen from North Dakota. I'm in central Michigan area. I bought that car a little over a year ago. I had arrangements for somebody to come go get it for me and drop it off. I had a deposit. Things didn't pan out. I ended up paying the company through PayPal, so I followed a suit with them and drug on. But one of my friends from north of here, Coulter, actually helped me. He said, well, let's just hook onto my dad's trailer and let's just go get it. So after like 5 weeks, and the previous owner was very patient. We left on a Friday. We went and stayed in Wisconsin somewhere. The first night we went through the UP. And then the second day we made it to Jamestown, North Dakota, where the car was from. And when we went, when we got all the way there, it was like a 1,200-mile trip. The previous owner, he had it in his exhaust shop parking lot. He didn't even show up. I think he was a little overdealing with all the drama. It's understandable, but it was just kind of weird. He didn't ever show up or nothing. But we loaded the car up, and then we took off. We made it back to some little town in Minnesota. We took a different route on the way back than we did there. We went through Minneapolis, but on the way back, I think we went through St. Paul or St. Cloud. I can't remember the name of the place, but we found this Applebee's there, and we pull in, and we hear this like dragging noise, thinking there's something shoved under the trailer. And we eventually figure out that it's coming from the truck, and we find out what it was. It was the transfer case had blown a hole in it. And it wasn't like the normal case rub stuff for a Duramax. It looked like a shift selector fell through into the chain and then got thrown out the side of the case. Which Coulter had said something about his truck didn't have four-wheel drive, but I didn't really think much about it. It was Easter. It was actually Easter weekend. It was kind of weird. So 10 o'clock at night, we were in Minnesota in this little town. We were searching Craigslist. We were going to try to put one on if we could find it. I mean, we didn't have a whole lot of funds, but we were going to buy one and put it on there and then keep going. And couldn't find one. Nobody did answer. We blew this one guy's phone up for like, I mean, a straight hour. Call, text, 2 different numbers. Kind of feel bad for him, but we ended up going into Walmart and getting duct tape and some grease, and it was absolutely miserable the next day. We didn't sleep barely at all, but we did get a hotel and tried to get some sleep. We got up in the morning. It was like 6 o'clock, and there was snow. Hadn't seen snow the whole time, and it's like freezing balls out and snowing and miserable. So we get under there and duct tape it and pump it full of grease, thinking we'll make it like maybe Wisconsin. Just had like no hope. And we ended up babying it like the whole way home. We made it 800 miles. It was ridiculous. I'll put pictures here somewhere. Yeah, and we had all sorts of mishaps. Like I think we had 4 straps on the car. We got to the bridge, Mackinac, and there was 2. And then we lost another one on the way home. On the way home from Mackinac City, we lost another strap. It was I just don't have good luck. Anyways, yeah, I got the Vega home. I realized that me being 6'6", the Vega that I bought sight unseen, that I remember from my childhood, I don't think is gonna work. I tore the interior out. What I really wanted was a driver's car, something I could get in. I had already mostly built the 6-liter that I still have. I wanted a 6-liter 4L80, something I could just hop in, haul ass, and just, be comfortable in. When I remember Vegas, it was when I was smaller, obviously. I was probably 12 or 13. And I tore the interior out of it, measured it for a cage. I obviously figured out it's just not going to work. I was kind of depressed about it. I ended up selling the car for a fair amount of money, more than I had into it. And the guy was really nice. It was father and son, so I was happy for that. But I had kind of looked around for another cheap car. I don't really like rare stuff that's hard to find. And I've always kind of liked Regals. And I bought this Regal. It was an '87. It was a parts car. The guy said he wanted $500 for it. Oh, excuse me. They had a title, all this other stuff. The guy was from Kalamazoo, was about 2 hours away. And we talked for a couple days. He was very indecisive, and I don't know. I think he had some drug or mental issues, but that's neither here nor there. He got a hold of me the night before I was supposed to go there on the weekend, and he said, "Yeah, I need a column for my Cutlass. I'm going to take it out of here. What would you offer me?" And I said, "I don't want the car if it doesn't have a column. It's too hard to move around. I'm sure you guys have had a car without a column. It's just a pain." Well, I told him, I said, "I'm serious. I'll be there tomorrow." And he goes, "Yeah, okay. Well, we leave early. We get about 10 miles away from Kalamazoo," and the kid texts me and says that the parts column is laying in the floorboard. I get there, I wasn't really happy about that. Looked at it, the car is solid, except for the floors. I knew the floors were kind of junk in it. The car had hydraulics on it originally, or back in the day. I don't know when it got took off or put on. It was a V6 car. It's clean on the outside, floor pans need work, and it's missing a lot of parts. Like you'd never make this original driving car again, ever. So I just wanted a race car. I'm not much for fancy stuff. I knew I was going to cage it. I knew I was going to strip out the interior and all this stuff. And I hit him low. I said $200 for it. And he said $300, and I basically walked away from it, and we were about ready to leave. He said $250. I stayed at $200. I ended up getting it for $225. Clean title. The car was originally from North Carolina. And I had this, and I was building the motor, and I was just kind of bumming about not having something different. You don't see a lot of Vegas because they rot out, and the one I had was actually pretty straight. And I just came up with this idea, I want a small 2-door wagon. I can't afford a Nomad. I don't make that kind of money. So And I joked with my buddy Coulter and Kevin and a couple of the other guys that I hang out with that I was going to take a G-body or a body wagon and hack the roof off of it, but I could never find one. Michigan's, it's really hard to find stuff cheap that's worth anything. And even the car that I stole the top from is pretty rough. But I finally found one. I'm like, I told Coulter about it. I was in Detroit. I don't really like going there, but we went down there anyways and got it. And I probably paid too much for it, but I committed to it. Like, I basically said I'm going to make it a wagon. And what I really committed to is when I cut the back off of this. I just, you know, if I was gonna set the motor in and do all this other stuff, then it would just be a Regal. But if I cut the back off, I have no other choice but to finish it. And that's pretty much how I do big projects like this. I've got a Suburban that's back half into a 4-door pickup. I'll probably make a video about it. And all my stuff, I just don't have stock like normal things. I'm kind of weird like that. Goals for the car, I'm gonna get a metric 9-inch from like a dirt track. There's a lot of dirt track guys around here. Metric 9-inch with a stock geometry suspension under it. I'll get aftermarket coils because the bushings are all, or not coils, control arms. The bushings on this are all blown out from the hydraulics. I've got a C4 front end up there. It's probably in the picture from a Corvette. Like I said, the whole front's shot. Bushings and everything are shot, I'm sure. And I'm going to cage the car. Probably 10 or 12 point. It'll be well over what the car will run. It'll tack well over what the car will run. And then I've got a 6-liter LQ4 LS motor that I'm going to build for boost. I plan on going MS3 Gold, 210 Bosch injectors. It was an early model 6-liter. It's got 317s on it with 660 BTR springs on it in it. The valves are hand lapped. It's got Gen 4 rods and pistons, and the rings on it I gapped to like 28. I didn't really mess around with it too much. I got pretty aggressive on it. I want to tune the car myself, so I figured the more gap, and then I could hopefully not bust a ringland or knock. You know, I want to put in one of the Sloppy Mechanics bass tunes and then learn myself. I don't want to take it to a shop. I would like to dyno tune it, but I don't want to have somebody else. I want to work through it myself. I've always been like that. And then a 4L80. I've got a 4L80 from a van that I'm going to put a HD2 kit in it. I might do clutches and bushings in it. The fluid is pretty rough. But hopefully these videos will get a few likes, a few views, and then I monetize these, so if I get any revenue from that, I mean, it's not much, but it'll help me buy small parts. Like I just bought an oil pan for the motor, body pan. It'll just help me buy piddly parts and maybe like E85 when I go to actually get the car running. Yeah, I'm hoping this gets views. If you have any questions, comments, anything like that, go ahead and post them. I'll try to get back to them. If I have enough of them, I'll do like a question and answer thing. Even if you want to call me a dickhead or something, I'm pretty thick-skinned, and I've probably heard better from worse. So